I have to share with you this story. So there was a group of a family that was getting together, and they have a business meeting, and they were talking about what they need to do in order to succeed. And one person at the meeting said, maybe we should do Vayimayin. You know how they always talk on the videos, how Vayimayin, if you avoid seeing something, Hashem sends beracha. So someone else said at the table, which most people I think feel like, come on, really? You think it really works? And then someone else at the table says, listen, I have to share a story that I never shared before. Before I tell the story, I want to make this clear. There are always sigulot, there are always things that work. But Hashem decides when He wants it to work. Tzedakah tatzil imavet doesn't mean that every Baal tzedakah is going to live forever. Hashem decides when tzedakah is tatzil imavet and when not. Tefillah always is heard. Hashem decides when to take it and do what was asked and when not to do what they were asked. So let me give you one beautiful little story. The man says at the table, he says, I was driving in Manhattan, and it was one of those hectic, it was high time in Manhattan, maybe it was in the middle of the summer, and there's a million people at every street corner. And somehow I was making every red light. Sometimes you make every green. He says, I made every red. And the challenges around me were like impossible. He says, I made up in my mind. There's a family member we have who's a 40-year-old girl and she's not married. He said, every time I get to the red light, I'm going to take off my glasses and I have in my mind, I say a chapter of Tehillim for that girl to get married. And every red light he did. Every red light he says, I stopped, I took off my glasses, I said a chapter of Tehillim for that girl to get married. There's a chut that I'm not looking at all the scenery around me. Please, Hashem, bless this girl. 5 months later, the girl got engaged. The man couldn't believe it. Everyone was so excited. This man was like shocked. And he called the shadchan and he says, when was the shidduch read? The shadchan thought back. And he realized that if the day he was in the city was a Tuesday, the next morning, Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon, within 24 hours, is when the shidduch was read that led to this girl getting engaged and getting married. She was single for 40. It's a long time. Now you might say that, oh wow, that's so powerful. That story really works. But Hashem decides when it works. There's other people who maybe gave tzedakah and Hashem decided still that they should have a challenge. There might be another person who was Vayimayin and still decides to have a challenge. But there's a chut, and the power that's in Vayimayin is undoubtable. The fact that a person turns away gives him so much power, so much strength, and can lead to so much beracha is not doubtable. When Hashem decides to use it, when He does it, that is in Hashem's hands. We don't run the world, He does. But the fact that when a person turns away, they unleash an incredible zechut, an incredible merit, something that can have an incredible impact on his life, that there is no doubt.